Okay guys, in a lot of my recent videos I've been talking a lot about tools, and some of you guys are probably confused because, I run more of a preparedness type channel. Like I said, tools are just as essential, if not more so, than guns and ammo and all that stuff. Um, with tools, it can help you build things, fix things, move things, um, help other people out. So, if you're driving down the road, you see someone else, you know, in need, whether they're stuck, flat tire, car problems, whatever, having tools with you, you could possibly help them out, which, um, I mean, that's just kind of a good thing to do in general. So, this tool bag is what I keep in my vehicle. The brand of the bag doesn't matter, it happens to be a Stanley Fat Max. I got this probably 5 or 6 years ago. But it's roughly probably 20 inches wide, 18 or 20 inches wide. I don't know the exact dimensions. I might check Amazon, see if they still sell it. I think I picked this up at like Walmart though. But Bucket Boss makes some, Custom Leathercraft makes some, Husky. There's so many brands that make tool bags. I prefer tool bags over toolboxes. First, they're, in my opinion, easier to carry. Second, you can cram more stuff into them. um, they're not as waterproof, so that's something to keep in mind. If you plan on keeping something like this in the bed of your pickup, then I'd suggest kind of a rigid, uh, hard shell toolbox that hopefully is at least water resistant. This, if water gets in here, it will sit in here, so that's something to keep in mind. I'm not going to talk too much about the bag, more of the contents that's in it. Like I said, I keep this in my vehicle, so this is kind of a vehicle roadside assistance kit slash if I see other people that are either stuck, flat tire, blown radiator, whatever, um, I can possibly help them out with. And then it also does have some survival items per se if I was to get stranded on the road and stuff like that. This is not my get home bag. This is kind of a add on to my get home bag or my go bag that I keep in my car. But you will see there's some kind of survival type items mixed in with tools. That's just kind of what I like. So, starting off here, right on the outside, I have a Princeton Tech Fred. It's not even that good of a headlamp, but I kind of like headlamps more than flashlights. And I have this right on the outside, so it's kind of one of the first things. It's really easy to get. It's just hooked on with a carabiner, and then I stuff it in a pocket right here. Next, I have some Hot Hands hand warmers. Got 4 of those. Mostly for like winter time. Stick them in your front jeans pockets or in your jacket pockets or something just to keep warm. Next, I have an Olight S30R Baton 2. I like this one because it has a magnetic base. So if you have to work on a car, if you have to change a tire, you can kind of hook this right up to the fender, or you can hook it to pieces of your car or someone else's car. And it's really bright, plus it has multiple settings. So this is not only a work light, but it could also be a signal aid. Like with this strobe kind of beacon, or you could signal for SOS or whatever. Next, I have a climbing rated locking carabiner, an Omega. I got kind of one of the biggest ones available. So this D-ring is actually really durable. So, you could hook this as an anti-theft measure to somewhere in the back of your car or something like that, just so somebody, they see it, it takes them a little bit longer just to pull it out. And plus, there's so many other aspects to this. I can't even cover them in this video. Next, I just have some EMT shears. I threw them in there because I just had a couple extra pairs, so I thought whatever. Just an 8-inch pry bar. A true story. I actually used this one time. I locked the keys into my car, and I used this to kind of shim open the driver's side window just enough to get a clothes hanger down there and pop open the lock. That was eventful. Okay, so flipping the other side, I have some, this is called extreme tape. It's a self-fusing tape. I'm not going to unwind it. I might do a video on it in the future, but I've used this to repair like hoses, garden hoses, stuff like that. Hydraulic lines. You can use it for like brake lines, any type of like hose that develops a hole. It's not a permanent fix, but it should at least get you home. And there's probably bits and pieces of this on some of my hoses on my vehicle. But this that should at least get you to an auto body store or a get you home or to some mechanic shop so they can replace whether it's a brake line or a coolant hose or whatever. It's pretty inexpensive, and again, I just have it on the outside. It's just tape in general, so it's easy to get to. I just have it hooked with a kind of a aircraft grade cable keychain type thing. Over here I have some nitrile gloves, black ones. Mostly, I'm not one to talk because my hands are full of crap right now, but working around cars and stuff, especially if you're working with chemicals, it kind of can just protect your hands. And then also, if you're dealing with a medical emergency, so whether you're in a car crash or someone else, just so you're not possibly contaminating yourself, so to speak. And then in this pouch here, I just have some like powdered graphite for stuck locks, some Loctite. This is just kind of a flexible, gooey, like shoe goo almost. Another, you can dab this on a broken hose and then wrap that tape around. Then I have some electrical tape, Super 33. This stuff, it works pretty well in cold weather. And then I just have some Loctite, some blue Loctite, 242. And then I just have a small roll of duct tape. So that's just quick fix type things. That's kind of why they're all on the outside, and then that way they don't get lost in the bag. So that's the inside of the bag. Hopefully you can see it. I'm just going to start pulling stuff out and show you. So this is some 2-inch wide, very thick nylon. It was on a ratchet strap, and then part of it broke, as you can see, but the rest of the webbing is still intact, and it's super strong stuff. I don't know what this is rated to, like 10,000 pounds or some of those thick industrial grade ratchet tie downs. I threw this in there as possibly makeshift tow rope or recovery strap, stuff like that. I also have a dedicated recovery strap in my car, but there's so many uses for this, so I threw that in there mostly just because it was kind of free. I have some Atwood paracord, I believe 100 feet, yeah, 100 feet of like OD grain paracord. There's so many uses for that. I just have a small length of like 12 gauge wire. I like it because of the thick copper wire inside. You got 3 strands, so this is like a 2-foot piece. So you got 6 feet of wire for quick repairs or like I don't know. I just like that wire. I just got a pair of steel hand pruners, mostly for my job, but then this can cut some crazy stuff. And then also, like, if you were for some reason stuck in the woods or whatever, and you wanted to make a fire or something, this is almost quicker than a saw, especially if you're injured. You can snip some dry branches, start a fire. This is just one piece of a ratchet strap. I have the other parts in the bag still. A lug wrench. Not the best. It's called Autocraft. I believe I got it from O'Reilly Auto Parts. Mostly just as a redundant to the kind of crappy tire iron that comes with most vehicle jacks. So like my vehicle uses the 19 millimeter lugs, but then it has 7/8, 11/16, and 21 millimeter. I got this one is a little more bulky, but then if I have to help someone else with a car, or vehicle, I don't know what size they'll have. This is the tool roll, which I'll get into in a second. I got a thick dog leash with a collar. You might be asking why. Well, whether there's a stranded dog and I'm trying to get a hold of it to call, animal control, or if it's a violent attacking dog, if I disable it, or not disable it, but if I kind of gain control of it, I can leash him up and throw this around somewhere until I call animal control. I've had to deal with that in the past, so I just threw it in there. Plus, I have a dog, so for some reason, just an extra dog leash. It doesn't seem important until you need one, but you can also use the 550 cord or the other cord that I have in here for a dog leash, but, it's just kind of a spare, so I threw it in there. Tape measure, because I'm always in need of a tape measure. It's a Lufkin self-centering 25-foot tape measure, nothing special. This is just that nylon tie down. I have 2 of them, daisy chained. This is actually kind of the best way I found to store this stuff. Daisy chained up for that ratchet strap. I have 5 24-foot or 24-inch plastic zip ties. These have a 175-pound breaking strength, so whether it's for there's a lot of uses for these, but mostly for car and vehicle truck problems, stuff like that, and then maybe also for securing stuff, whether you're grabbing pipe or something like that, you can just secure it. I have a pair of thick chemical proof gloves. Again, I had these, and there's been a couple instances where I wish I had a pair of these, so I threw these in there. I just have a cheap Harbor Freight pry bar. Multiple uses for this. Sometimes, if this is what you need, there's kind of no replacement. This was like $2 at Harbor Freight. I thought, why not? Another Harbor Freight special, Pittsburgh. Probably a lot of you guys know that brand, Harbor Freight. Again, this was like $1. I might even got this for free. I don't remember. They, so it's not the strongest thing, but it was inexpensive. So I have some smaller zip ties, like maybe 10 or 12-inch zip ties, smaller. This is the Lee Joe folding shovel from To Go Systems. I have a review on this. Really useful, very compact, possibly a defensive tool, utility tool, digging, if you're stuck, if you're trying to dig up some dirt to gain traction, stuff like that. There's a lot of uses for this, and it's not that heavy, and especially for this thing where it's just going to be sitting in a tool bag in a car, I think it's awesome. It has a compass, on the back. But, I threw it in because I thought it was a perfect place for this to go. I just have a claw hammer, a 21 ounce Master Force, so it's from Menards. I got a 12-inch crescent wrench, adjustable wrench. This is very old. Litica Tool USA, or Utica or Litica. Somebody that knows old tools, let me know. But this thing is probably from the 60s or 70s, 80s, I don't know. But it still runs very smoothly. All the new crescent wrenches that I buy, they crap out really quick. And this is the one still going strong. It's super smooth. It doesn't ever seem to break. Just the tire iron, again 19 millimeter, for my car, and then some an assortment of bungee cords. I got 2-footers, 1-footers, 18-inch. You know, bungee cords, again, I mean, I don't really have to explain why. So that's everything in the bag. Let me put everything back in, and then I'll show you the tool roll. So this is the tool roll, and it's made by Ergodyne, Work Gear, Tenacious, I don't know. But it was really inexpensive, but it seems pretty high quality. It was about 10 bucks. I'm a big fan of tool rolls. I think they're really cool for storing your small stuff. Keeps everything contained, nice grab handle. If I did have to go on the go, I would probably leave all that stuff, but I could just take this and lash it to my go bag. Okay, so the contents of the tool roll, starting here, I have a small center punch. I just have a hacksaw blade, a small triangle file, assortment of combination wrenches like a 9/16, 11/16, 12 millimeter, 7/16, 14 millimeter, 10 millimeter, an adjustable wrench, a pair of needle nose hiding down there, an extendable magnet, a utility knife, a 6-inch pair of locking pliers, a small pair of channel locks, a small Craftsman flathead, a 1/2-inch cold chisel, a Silcock key, another flathead screwdriver, a 1-inch chisel, a number 2 Craftsman Phillips screwdriver, and some smaller zip ties. Right here, as many of you know, just a Baco Laplander. One of my least favorite saws, but you know, whatever, just to make you guys happy, I threw it in here because I don't use it that much. And then over here, this is another favorite flashlight of mine. And if you guys have been keeping count, I have 3 or 4 flashlights in here. Light is kind of a friend, at least to me. Flashlights are. A lot of times it seems that car troubles happen in the middle of the night. But this is a Phoenix PD35 Tactical, so I threw it in here. And then over here, I got some standard fractional sockets. I got some metric sockets in there. Pretty much the ones the only sizes used on my car. But you know, they're quite common. You know, you got 15 millimeter, 17, 10, 12, 14, stuff like that. And then I have some Allen keys in the middle, and that's all for the tool roll. But it's Ergodyne. I believe you can get them on Amazon. I picked them up from a local tool supply store for 10 bucks. I bought a couple of them. But really thick construction. I like it a lot. And that is one last look at the pile of stuff I have. If you guys like this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. If you haven't already, go back to my homepage, watch some of my recent videos, and if you like what you see, feel free to subscribe. And until next time, remember, stay prepared.